ThekarmicDF.
What is up, guys? It's your girl, the Karmic DF from TikTok, back to you again with part 2 of the ego death. And this time it is, what do we do with this information? How do we take back control of our lives so that we can stop feeling like we're a victim to our lives and start feeling like the victor? When we can start looking at things instead of from a negative perspective where it's like, oh my God, how do I get through this? And start to go, what can I learn from this about myself and about whatever actions or steps that I feel necessary in order to move forward in my life. So if you are ready for change, if you are ready to take back control of your life, if you are ready to stop making excuses, stop holding yourself back, believe in the impossible again, then this is the video for you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and as always, let's just get into it. So in the first video, I'll try to link it down here, but if I forget, it's the video before the last one. In the first video, we talked about why all this stuff comes up and how we start to realize how we've kind of caged ourselves into believing that, you know, there isn't more to life, that we have to settle for complacency. And so because of the generations before us, and again, there's no blame in any of this for anybody. It's just knowing that we have to bring that back to ourselves, right? We have to go, okay, well, we can sit here and point the fingers all we want, but at the end of the day, it's up to us who we want to become. It's up to us what we're going to do with this information and with this knowledge. And so what we need to start doing moving forward as a collective, and just for everybody in their general lives, is start to look at each and everything that upsets us, that's negative, as a lesson, as a point in which we can learn more about ourselves. So for instance, say you're at a moment in life where you're just like, I don't know if I could do this relationship anymore. And it's 10:10 on the clock when I say that. That's so funny. And you're just like, but I don't know. We have all these great memories and blah, 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 blah. But we only have today, right? We only have this moment. And how are people showing up for us? How are things looking for us? We use logic in the most ass backwards way. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's like we use logic to go with the heart, which just doesn't make any sense because the heart, I won't even go down that. But we can logic ourselves to death in the wrong way. Like, for instance, you're in a relationship for 7 years, right? And maybe at one point it was really good, but then you got to this place where, maybe you changed, they changed, but somehow now it's just like you're not vibing at the same frequency. You guys aren't really understanding each other anymore. You're bumping heads, you're building resentment, you've tried to communicate, the communication isn't working anymore. It's like you're speaking two different languages, and then you're going like, what's wrong with me? What can I do? How can I fix this? Yada, yada. But what we're not really doing is taking a step back and going with our logic mind for the right way for once and going, what is this trying to teach me? And more often than not, what it's trying to teach you is that you've outgrown the relationship, or you've outgrown the job, or you've outgrown a certain lifestyle. When I was, I think 28, 29, I was still trying to go to the karaoke bars and have a good time. But something about it gave me an ick feeling. And that's something that you really, really need to be mindful of. It's the only way I know how to explain it, but you're going to know what I'm talking about. Something or someone, you'll be in a social situation and you just get this feeling, this That's your intuition talking to you. It's trying to tell you something. But we've been taught to go all brain, no heart. And so we get really confused. And then we're like, all right, well, I'm going to logic myself to death into something that is not even making us happy. If we were born to just work, sleep, die, why are any of us doing this? Let's be honest. So no, I refuse to believe that that's what's going on. And if you listen to any come up story of I'm thinking of just rap and hip hop, because those are usually, because I'm hearing the song started from the bottom, now we're here. Those people that had no shot, but they had the belief, they had the hope, and they had the drive, right? And so they didn't care what other people had to say. They didn't care about societal norms. They cared about following their intuition. And that's something that we've become so disconnected from. We make so many excuses, and this is a big one, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but you might get triggered by this one. Especially with relationships, more often than not, when you have an issue with your spouse, you will go to your friends, your family, someone who is not completely saturated in the relationship, and tell your truth to them to get their opinion, their perspective, when they're not even in it. And no offense, but they might not even have the qualifications to be giving you advice. I mean, would you want their relationship? Because they might have a shitty relationship, so they're probably going to give you shitty advice. We need to start learning to speak our truth, even if it makes us uncomfortable, because that's usually where it comes from. It's like, I don't want to, rock the boat. I don't want more problems than already. I'm just trying to live a simple life. But what we have to realize is that change is inevitable. Growth is inevitable. Relationships aren't always meant to be forever. I mean, scientifically alone speaking, your brain's not fully developed until you're 25, I believe. And then by 30 years old, I think it's 5%, and I might be being nice on that, but 5% of you is conscious at that point, which means you're on subconscious programming in your 30s, which means it's that much harder to change. So first of all, give yourself a break. Second of all, if you don't believe me in this, think about a time where like you had a moment and you're like, I need to change everything up. And so you changed up your whole room, right? But the first few days, you started going back to that same place that the trash can was, but it's not there anymore. You started going to where the couch was, but the couch isn't there anymore. It's because your brain locks in that information and then you don't need to know it anymore. It's subconscious. And so that's where we kind of get ourselves stuck, because when we're running on all these subconscious programs of like, this relationship is my norm, this job that I hate is my norm, and this lifestyle that I live is my norm, then it's going to be a lot harder to change it, because our brain is like a computer, and yet we think that our brain is going to be what gets us out of things and into good things. We obviously need our brain to function. I mean, we're human, but if we don't listen to our heart and our instincts, then we are always going to be set up for failure, because we're going to logic our way out of what we should actually be doing, which seems so counterintuitive, but that's the truth of the matter. That's how our brains are wired, and we fear change, but change is inevitable. And when we go in this freaking loop, like I'm seeing like an infinity symbol in my head, you're not going to get off that hamster wheel, because you're going to find every excuse in the book to be compliant with staying in monotonous monotonous careers, monotonous lifestyles, because it is hard to change. But if you're miserable in where you're at, then why not take that leap of faith and be uncomfortable anyway? Be uncomfortable doing something that actually resonates with you on a soul level, versus being uncomfortable, being miserable, and knowing for a fact, your logical brain knows that nothing's going to change. And this is especially significant in relationships. I see this time and time again. I used to be made fun of. I just feel like I feel like I need to bring this up. People used to make fun of me all the time because I was the 1 monther girlfriend, because I would date people for a month and then I'd be like, nah, I'm out. And people would be like, Mindy can't stay in a relationship. It's not that I couldn't stay in a relationship. It's that I knew what I wanted and I did not need to drag it out any longer than it had to be. I mean, in my early 20s, your girl drew some shit out for a few years. That's why I know these things. It's not like I'm speaking from a place of I just did the research. It's I've lived all these experiences where I've made all these excuses where, I had an associate's degree. I did all the things right, and yet I could only get $1 over minimum wage. And then I was like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, the system's broken. What we're taught to believe is broken. What we're taught to believe in terms of relationships is broken. We are living in literal upside down world, and it is infuriating once you realize that that's what's going on, to be honest. So once you've gone through an ego death, an ascension, or once you've just had a moment where you're like, I've had enough and I want to live my life, and it's usually around the age of 30, because then that's your solar return, or Saturn return for those who like astrology, you're going to realize that making excuses is going to keep giving you the same results. I'm literally hearing that saying in my head again. What is the spirit? Those that don't know, that's a good one too. Those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it, which is true. Very true. That I would classify that more for career though, because it's like, because they're bringing me back to the minimum wage thing. It's like, if you've seen it happen again and again and again, then it's going to happen again and again and again. That's where logic is important, right? Like, say you're dating someone and you've had this conversation again and again and again and again, and nothing has changed. History's doomed to repeat itself. Actions speak louder than words. And so if you keep making excuses, you don't have any, I hate to say it, but leverage to get that person to change. Why are they going to change? You've been in this relationship for 2 years now, and you're sticking around despite knowing that you want better from them, and they're not doing it because they know that you're going to stick around. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same thing in relationships. It's the same thing in jobs. And it's the same thing, ouch, this is going to hurt, with ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We gaslight ourselves. We make excuses to stay small in our own lives because it's easier. It's simpler. We don't have to take risks. We're afraid of risks. Our biggest excuses I hear all the time. Well, I have bills to pay. I have bills to pay too, honey. You think I thought that this was realistic? I didn't think this was realistic at all. In fact, I'm a very logical person, and I still don't feel that this is realistic. However, I know that every time that I disregard my heart and go with my head, I am much more miserable, and things, it's just like you could see the universe putting brick walls right in front of me. It's like, nope, can't go that route, can't go that route. So get used to getting uncomfortable. Get used to making decisions that make others uncomfortable, and get used to being true to yourself and watch things change. Like, here's a great example that I feel like I can kind of leave this on. I used to date really, and if any of my exes see this, I apologize. We're good, we're cool, no, we're good. But I used to date hella toxic dudes. And I mean, like, no one physically abused me, but verbal abuse was prominent, addictions and all that stuff prominent. And I was like, why am I still attracting these guys? Like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, the problem was me, because I was allowing it. I was trying to fix people. I was trying to see the good in people that didn't want to see the good in themselves. I was making excuses for them because I knew that I could do better, and if I can do better, then why can't they do better, right? And maybe if I just teach them. But you're robbing them of their opportunity to grow, and they're not going to grow if you're telling them to grow. And so you get yourself caught in this loop of like, why am I stuck? Why does this never change? Why won't they change for me? And then I hear pretty often, because I've seen it too myself, they end up changing after you leave, and then you go into this spiral of like, why did they change after I left? It must have been me. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's got nothing to do with you. It's that when people are comfortable, they're not going to change. Do you ever notice that, like, it's usually the tragedies that make people reevaluate their life? When someone close to them dies, that's when they go, oh my God, life's too short, I need to change. When they have one hell of a bad breakup that tortures their soul, that's when they go, oh my God, I realize that I need to start pouring into myself. Unfortunately, what is that quote, Spirit? Do you remember? Sometimes in life, we get pushed down paths that we should have made that choice to do in the first place, which is basically like, the universe is going to force you to go where you need to go, whether you like it or not. Yeah, because I just heard the song, Ready or Not, Here I Come, You Can't Hide. So do you want to prolong the inevitable, or do you want to just cut and do the hard work now? Get those tears flowing now if you need to, and then choose yourself. I've had to cut out so many people that I never thought I'd cut out, because the more that you pour into yourself, the more you realize that you have always deserved more. We are all inherently worthy of good things. All of us, even the toxic people that I've cut out in my life, I wish them the best. I know, and I could think of an ex off the top of my head that when we were together, we were horribly toxic. And I never thought that dude would do anything with his life. And now that man has a full-on career and a house. And dude, if somehow you're watching this video, I'm so proud of you. But you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it takes bad things happening in order for us to go, oh crap, we got to change our lives. So why not skip the part that's so freaking painful and start just being honest with ourselves? We need to start having those hard conversations with ourselves and with the people around us. If you feel like you're being disrespected, taken advantage of, then you need to talk to those people and speak your truth, even if that's uncomfortable, because they're going to tell on themselves and you will get your answer. If you go up to someone that you love and you say, hey, I feel like, me personally, I feel like you don't respect what I'm giving to you. I want to have a conversation about this because my feelings are hurt and my needs aren't being met. And you're going to get one of two answers, right? You're going to get either, oh my God, I didn't know you were feeling this way. How do we work on this as a team so that we can grow? Or you're going to get, more often than not, projection. Oh, you're selfish. Oh, you're disrespectful. Oh, and they'll flip the scripts on you. And you knew that was coming. You knew it was coming, but you were afraid to have it, and so you avoided the conversation. Do you see what I'm saying? It's that way in every category of life. The boss you're afraid to ask the raise from, ask for that raise. And then if that boss says no and you've been working there for 5 years, they don't appreciate you. That's what you know. You know that in your heart, but because it's comfortable-ish, you stick around. You don't push yourself to go further because that's scary, that's change. We don't like change. But at what point do you realize that you don't want to exist anymore? You want to live. You want to thrive. You want to have a life that, like, when you're 80, you can look back at and be like, damn, I did that shit. You know what I mean? Because, like, if I were to die tomorrow, I'd have some regrets because I'm not 100% where I want to be, but I am definitely not going to have the level of regrets that I would have if I died 3 years ago. Hell, 1 year ago. Because I've chosen myself, and because I've learned that through speaking up my needs, my desires, it changed everything and everyone around me. All the people that used to milk all the good out of me, they're gone because they know better. They don't try anymore because they know that I've changed. And so those people, they just kind of fall away. And then those better people that are a better vibrational match to me, they find me, and then I meet those people and they're better for me. When I started to cut off super toxic relationships, then I started to get semi-toxic relationships where it was just emotionally unavailable. And then when I learned that lesson and I was like, fuck out of here, I deserve much better than emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable men, stop talking to me, because I declared that I was done. We bring into our field of life what it is that we're willing to accept. And if you're willing to accept a dead-end job, if you're willing to accept a shitty relationship, if you're willing to accept a lifestyle that does not make you satisfied, then that is exactly what you are going to get. You are telling the universe what it is that you are willing to accept. And if you are not getting to a place where you're like, I deserve more, I am worth more, I did not come to live to just exist, I came to live, and I'm going to fight for me, then you're going to keep hitting these roadblocks. It's up to you to decide to make that change, to make that choice and pick yourself. And that's scary, and I agree, but do it while you shake. Do it while you quiver. Do it while your voice is like, I don't know if I could do this. Do it until that becomes your new normal. It takes 21 days to make something a habit. 21 days. So think about everything in your life that you don't like, and then go 21 days without it, and then that becomes your new normal. Similar to what I said in the beginning about changing a room around, it's simply habit. And when you can change your bad habits to things that actually resonate with who you want to be today, that's when you escape the shit that you no longer want. It really is that simple. What are you telling yourself that the universe can then bring into you? Are you telling yourself that you always get cheaters? Well, then you're going to keep getting cheaters until you learn that lesson of, I freaking refuse. I'm not going to settle for cheaters anymore. And then you've declared that to the universe. Those cheaters, the universe will test you. They'll send you a D-bag or two and flip the genders if you want. Don't come at me for genders. Just 90% of my, y'all just, whatever. 90% of you are like female. So bear with me here. But you get to decide your life, believe it or not. You really do, because it's a reflection of what you're putting out there. Are you putting out that the world is awful? Then you're going to see everything about the world that's awful. Are you putting out that the world is beautiful and that there's opportunities? Because then you'll start to see that the world is beautiful and that there are opportunities. Actually, I think I'm going to leave you with this because this is a great example. This is proven with science, and you can look it up. I don't care. This is, if you have a child, this is true, so stop yelling at your kids. If you're, say you like, all right, so like I'm picturing like a family and like you want ketchup, right? And you're like, hey, Jeff, go get the ketchup. It's on the 3rd shelf. And that kid does not want to get the ketchup. So they already have it in their head that they don't want to get the ketchup. And so they go in and their mind literally cannot see the ketchup in the fridge. And that's why you have this weird thing, and it always happens, and parents can definitely please chime in the comments if you've gone through this. You go into right where they're looking, and that's right where the ketchup is. It's because you've already decided it's not there, and so you don't see it. That is how much our mind can warp everything we go through. Because if you've already decided it's not there, then it's not there. If you've already decided you're going to get cheating boyfriends, you're going to get cheating boyfriends. If you've already decided you will never climb the ladder, if that's what you want to do, then you will never climb the ladder. I mean, honestly, your odds are still bad to begin with, but go for it if that's what your calling is. But what I'm saying is, if you've decided that monotony is what you're going to get, then monotony is what you're going to get. If you've decided that you want more, that you deserve better, then that's what you're going to get. These upscale people, these people that have all this money, they don't go, oh, I can't do this. I came from nothing. It's never going to happen. It's never going to work for me. They're going to go, I have tunnel vision. How do I do this? How do I make it happen? And then they go. They believe in themselves and then they go. Think about how, like, if you want to buy a blue car, now all of a sudden you're seeing blue cars. There is a reason for that. You attract what you know and you attract what you put out. So if your mindset is in the negative, you are going to attract the negative. If you are surrounded by people that complain and you complain, then that is all you're ever going to get. It is up to you to change the dynamics of your life. It all starts with internal, and you will see it all around you change, but it's up to you to make that uncomfortable step. I don't know why I do this at the wrong time. That's a thing. I don't know. But you have the choice. It really is up to you. It's up to your beliefs. Do you believe that you are worth more? Do you believe that you deserve a healthy, loving, mutually beneficial relationship? Do you believe that you weren't put on this world to eat, sleep, do bare minimum that you don't even enjoy and die? Because if that's your belief, then that is 100% what you're going to get. And that should scare you more than it should scare you to take a leap of faith on yourself. I want you to think about that, because if you're tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you have the choice to change that. But you have to take that leap of faith. You have to take that risk. And I know that's scary, and I know that you're going to have 100 reasons why you can't, but then make friends with a Virgo and learn how to plan, all right? Because figure out what your bills are if it's the job, all right? And figure out what you need and what you got to cut back on. Start putting in the effort that you would all that time you spend thinking about catastrophizing. You know, all that energy you put into, oh my God, I can't handle this, and oh my God, this is going to go wrong, and oh my God. Instead of going that route, go, okay, how do I use this energy inside of me of worry for something productive? How do I use this to go, all right, well, instead of worrying about, oh, this isn't going to work, all right, let's take this energy and use it to, how am I going to make this work? Do you see what I'm saying? What you resist persists. I just heard that in my head. And what you aim for, what you tunnel vision, I don't know why, but I'm seeing Kanye in my head. Like, maybe, I don't know what his backstory is, but look at how he talks so much shit, and he's still like, I mean, he's crumbling a little bit now, but like, he believed he was the greatest rapper alive, and so he was the greatest rapper alive. You know what I mean? Like, it really is that simple. You attract what you know, you attract what you are. Do you love yourself? If the answer is no, you're going to attract people that treat you like shit until you go, enough is enough, I'm going to start loving myself. You're going to attract jobs that are going to treat you like shit until you go, enough is enough, I deserve better than this, I'm going to go and find better for myself. It is up to you. You are the key. It is not impossible. You are not doomed to failure. I came from poverty. I came from lack mindset. I came from generations of barely getting by. I came from generations of never having enough. I came from the fear mentality. I came from it all. And I still believed to listen to my heart and my gut over my head, because my head wasn't making any damn sense. Life was not meant to just exist and be miserable and die. There's no way. I'm not signing on to that, because that's what the media says. No, thank you. And I won't go down that spiel, but if you guys want me to go down that spiel, you let me know. I'll make a video about that. I will, how schooling, how college and work, how it's all designed to make you go, I won't get into that in that video. But if you want me to, I'll make one, because I love talking about that. But anyway, the point is, it's up to you to decide what you want your life to look like. And it's up to you to make that leap of faith. But you got to stop blaming everything other than yourself, because in reality, it's up to you. It's your choice. What do you want? Is your heart telling you, I hate this job, I really, really want to do something creative, I'm passionate about it? Then start that side business, start that side hustle, and pour your heart into that. You might have to stay between worlds for a little while, but watch how quickly that takes off, because it's something that your heart is drawn to. There is a reason we have dreams, guys. But unfortunately, society just kind of beats it out of us, and then we believe that we have to settle for good enough. And that's not true at all. It's what your mind is letting you believe to be true. And the moment that you switch that flip that switch and go, enough is enough, watch the world around you change. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen myself. I'm living proof, and it'll keep coming. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this was helpful. Let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see in the next video. I could definitely tell you about how school has indoctrinated us into settling for less than we deserve. I could get into that. But as always, I love you guys so much. Please know that when you choose yourself, not only is that good for you, but that causes a ripple effect for the rest of the world around you. Just like, you know, when you go to Dunkin' and someone pays for the drink and then you're inspired, so you pay for the drink. Just like negative can impact, and it's the same with positivity. So what side of history do you want to be on? Do you want to choose yourself and happiness? Or do you want to choose complacency and saying that you can't do it because you haven't seen the proof? Your heart knows the way. Follow this compass. Ignore this. It's just a computer. It's the accumulation of all the knowledge up until this moment. It doesn't know what new looks like, but your heart does. So follow that. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.